ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome. A little bit of late night streaming going on right here. This is the final hour of the Shoutcraft America qualifiers, based, as you might imagine, of course, on the current Grandmaster ladder ranks in North America and your eligibility. What we're going to be doing is tracking the last hour. We'll be having a look at the movers and the shakers. We'll be having a look at the guys who have clearly qualified at this point, talking a little bit about them and their chances, going, of course, through information, talking a little bit about what's going on with them. And then we will be going into the guys that perhaps might not make it at this stage. There's the possibility. The area of the rankings around the bottom is currently very frenzied, let's just say that. And there are people entering and leaving the qualification spots on a minute-by-minute basis. It's pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. So that's what we'll be looking at here today. Now, what I also need to do is make sure, of course, that I have the ability to take some screenshots. And I will be joined in my little adventure today by Root Cats, who will be both trying to qualify, which is unlikely to happen. As good as Cats is, he can't really climb about 70 spots that quickly. And he will also be doing a little bit of commentary with me. We'll be talking about the chances of various people and, of course, the performance of his teammates, since many Root members are already in very safe positions and are extremely likely to qualify as a direct result. Alright. This should be an interesting one. I'm certainly looking forward to it. This is very much ladder information, so if you're tuning in and not expecting anything like that, then yeah, this probably won't work out so well for you. But regardless, we're doing it just to keep an eye on things and just to speculate who will end up actually having in this qualifier. Alright. Well, let's have a look at the ladder rankings right now, and I'm going to tell you who's currently eligible based on our knowledge and who isn't. It's important to know that, because reading the ladder is a little tricky, since there are a number of players currently on the ladder who are not eligible for the top 16 of Shoutcraft America. So, a reminder for those of you who don't know how Shoutcraft America works, the 16 players that will be invited to Shoutcraft America will be invited based on their ladder ranking. The top 16 US, South American, Mexican, North American, and, of course, Canadian players. So basically, anyone in the continental US that is a citizen or legal permanent resident, that means green card or equivalent. That does not mean student visa, that does not mean visa waiver, that does not mean work visa. You must be a legal permanent resident. That is an official status in that country in order to qualify for this particular tournament. So there are a number of people who, as a result, are not eligible. We will be inviting those players based on their ranking at the end of this season's ladder, which will be in 50 minutes' time. That will be in 50 minutes' time. Alright, so let's have a look at the ladder, and I'm going to tell you who's eligible and who currently isn't, if you do not mind. Seems like a pretty good idea to me. Wow, actually being on the ladder really slows your frame rate. I had no idea that was the case. It's insane when you think about it. Just give me one moment. We're also trying to keep a spreadsheet, a Google document, continuously updated. It's a good job I didn't have StarCraft 2 running then, because it actually just crashed on me. It's actually my fault. I killed DX Story while it was hooked into the process. It really didn't like me doing that. Alright, let's get logged in and have a look at the ladder, shall we? And then I'll be bringing Cats in to talk a little bit about how things are going. So, let's see what we have. To the ladder we go. Alright. There you go, folks. This is the Grandmaster ladder at present. Now, the top 3 players here are not eligible. E.G. the Muslim is not a permanent legal resident of the United States. So, I'm afraid, even though he lives here, he is not a permanent resident. He cannot qualify. Puppy King, that is Bjorn from Team Prime. He is not eligible because he is Korean. Bunny, he is Danish. He is not eligible. Now let's start with the Americans. QXC. I think it's safe to say that QXC will be receiving an invite to this tournament. I don't believe he is getting knocked out of the top 16 in the next 50 minutes. He has the highest ladder ranking of any current American player. There is no way in a million years he is being knocked down. So QXC will be receiving an invite. Root Massa. The highest ranking Root player right now, also very safe indeed. Ridiculous win-loss ratio, 98 wins to 26 losses. That's actually incredibly impressive. Hecate, this is Maker. He is not, in fact, a North American player. I'm going to have to find out exactly where he's from. He is from one of, I think it's either Mexican or from one of the South American nations. Let me just double-check that one for you. I'll get you his identity. Okay, Maker, he is Mexican. Currently playing for a team by the name of Chaos Latin Gamers. He is actually a very impressive member of that particular clan. He got an amazing result at the WCS series in Mexico. He came in second to Major. Major, of course, is now on Team 8, a Korean Kesper team. So Maker came in second to that guy. That's pretty damn impressive. He is also 19 years old. He's a bit of a killer, man. He's really, really good. All right. I think it's probably about time that I bring Cats onto the call, actually. So you're going to have to forgive me, because this is all going to be done on the fly, so he's probably going to be way, way too loud to start with. I will endeavor... never mind, that crashed Skype. It's like, wow, this is a great start to our event, isn't it? Absolutely wonderful. It's like, oh, you want to call Cats? No. No, is that working? Now,
hello. It's working. I'm working.
Yes, according to this, it crashed Skype, Cats, which is strange considering I'm still hearing you.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's just a little bit odd. I'm just going to restart Skype if you don't mind, okay?
No problem.
Wonderful, thank you. It's not even quitting right now. God, I love Skype since they brought Microsoft into the equation, man. They've done such an amazing job with this application. Absolutely incredible. Like, sometimes it even works. I will be right back. There we go. Hate to cut Cats off mid-sentence. That would be terrible. Alright, quick update. Sasquatch has dropped out of the running due to his wrists, apparently. I'm going to check the ladder and see if he's actually in the running. I don't believe he is. I'm pretty sure he was actually just outside of it, which is a bit rough, to say the least. Just going to try and answer the call from Cats here. This should hopefully fix the problem. Come on, Cats. In the meantime, I'll check the ladder rankings right here. Yeah, Sasquatch is actually just outside of the running. Only just. Not by much, funnily enough. He could end up being invited. That's a possibility. The reason I say that is... Hey there, Cats. How are you?
Hello?
Hello? Oh, you got me? You haven't got me.
Hello?
Why have you not got me? I can hear you. Why can't you hear me? Hello, 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 hello. Check, check. Hello. Skype! I could hear you just fine, man. You could not hear me. It is a mystery. Yes, my mic input is correct. God, Skype, man. I don't know what it is about this application. Let me try calling him again. This will probably work. Let me just say, I don't think we'll be using Skype for the casting. That's not a good idea. That would be a dreadful plan. There's a problem with the internet connection between you two. Well, that's evident. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Good lord. Hello. Have you got me?
I still can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, that's weird. Oh. I'll restart Skype and see if that works.
All right. Sounds wonderful. Good lord. All right, anyway, so let's update you on a few things. So Sasquatch has stopped playing. He's just confirmed that via Twitter. He cannot continue because his wrists are hurting. Apparently, he's completely burned out. His current position... now XSplit's not going to flip over, is it? Good lord. Everything with problems today. Everything. Well, apparently getting an updated version of XSplit prior to the tournament, which should fix a lot of these problems. Sasquatch, as you can see, is currently in 29th place. Now, you might think, oh, that's way, way too low. Not necessarily. Bear in mind that a lot of the people above him are ineligible. So, let's go back to the ladder for a second. So, I already told you these three guys here are ineligible. This barcode is ineligible. We know who that is. They can't qualify. Stefano, he can't be allowed in either. He's not allowed in. Anonymous, this guy is not eligible. Everyone down here is Igua. This guy is not eligible. He is not a U.S. citizen. This barcode isn't eligible either. Polt is not eligible. Yiptastic is not eligible. This guy, we know, is not eligible, so he is out of the running. Pig is not eligible. See what I'm talking about here? Sasquatch is kind of in the range where he could potentially get in based on who accepts their invites. So, let's do a little bit of counting, shall we? We're looking for the top 16 here. So, QXC, so he's 1. 1, 2, 3, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. So that's 9 out of 14 here. 10th, that's state. 11th, 12th, 13, 14, 15, 16. So currently RSVP is on the edge at this stage.
Hello.
Hey there, Cats. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Thank God for that. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Just going through the ladder rankings at the moment, seeing who's eligible and who is not.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, your guys are doing fairly well, by the looks of it. We've got Massa, who is... let's just say Massa is not getting knocked out anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yep, he is currently in 5th place on the ladder. There's no way he's getting dislodged.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Massa from, anyway?
He's Canadian.
Canadian?
Or he lives in Canada. He's from Korea, but he's in Canada for the last, 10 years or something.
Very cool. Guys on the stream, if you could let me know whether or not you can hear Cats clearly, that would be cool, and I'll do some adjustments for doing everything on the fly today. No testing whatsoever. Root Kane, one of your newest acquisitions here.
Yep. Canadian as well. He is, he's always at the top of the ladder, so as soon as the tournament was announced, he started laddering again.
Monstrous, man. I mean, he has 654 wins and 357 losses, so he's basically played 1,000 games this season. That's insane.
Yeah, he plays a lot, especially
hardcore.
considering he also goes to school, but school just finished for him.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that in itself is actually incredible there. Minigun, blowing it away right then, 12th place on the ladder, looking really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he just had his... He, unfortunately, has fallen down to the Challenger Division. He got a... Yeah. What is it with Minigun getting really rough opponents in the first game of the tournament? It's like he gets thrown into Dallas, has to deal with life, and then gets thrown in to deal with Nesty, of all people. Jesus.
Yeah, tough bracket, especially, he really hates PvZ right now.
Yeah?
So, yeah, that was unfortunate for him.
Yes, that was definitely a rough one indeed. Although you've got to say that guy acquitted himself very admirably against the opponents he ended up against there, I've got to say.
Yeah, almost took a puck there.
He almost did, man. It was really, really close. Puck actually was one of those players who was very high on the ladder to begin with, and hasn't actually played that many games since the announcement of the tournament because Puck already had that placing.
Yeah, the time that the tournament was announced, basically the bonus pools ended almost right after. So it's actually harder to go up than it is to go down for the most part. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. If we end up getting a Season 2, we'll be looking to give a full month for qualification. I think that'll shake things up quite significantly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving down the list here. So I think that actually is all the Root players who are basically in the safe zone As in, it's very unlikely that they're going to be knocked out of there. So we got Massa, you got Kane, Minigun, and Puck. So that would be 4 Root players in the 16 invites. That's actually the biggest representation of any team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely expected this, and we were hoping. The Ognis actually got kicked off of Grandmaster because of bonus pool, like 1 day before the announcement of the tournament.
Oh.
Yeah, he wasn't playing on NA ladder, and yeah, so he couldn't basically get back into Grandmaster, and he got kicked out of bonus pool. So he actually played on his friend's account, but he understands that he can't qualify through that. So, but his friend's account is like top 30 as well.
Yes, it is actually. I can see that. I won't identify it, but I know which one it is. So yeah, 4 Root players, that's pretty good. Now, we continue to scroll down here. We're seeing good representation from FXO America, both Neeb and Drunken Boy looking to be in the running. Although Drunken Boy is dangerously low on this list. As in, Drunken Boy could potentially not qualify, although it's looking less and less likely that that's the case there. And Drunken Boy, of course, making a name for himself by taking down Mia in the WCS Premier League qualifier.
Yeah, yeah, he's a really strong player. He's a really you could call him really cheesy. All his strategy is based off of the early game for the most part, but he's extremely good at it. Kind of like, you know, like you could call Leenock cheesy, but he's still gonna beat you. So
yeah. I mean, this guy's no bit by bit. He knows exactly what he's doing there. We saw him do a 1-base SCV Hellion all-in against Mia that he wasn't able to hold. And he did end up losing to Hart directly after that, which is unfortunate that he got 2 Axiom players in a row, but he made a name for himself there, and this is an opportunity for him to play against his fellow countrymen, and I hope to see some very entertaining cheese coming in from Drunken Boy. Or maybe he ends up being like Hart. He reforms mid-tournament into this massive, gigantic macro player, and nobody expects it, and then he just dominates everybody.
yeah, that's also likely. I mean, the scariest players are the ones that can play any style, and he can definitely play the cheesy part really well. But again, like the scary thing about him, because there's hundreds of people trying to do that, and it just doesn't work out for him. So like when you have a really strong player that can play at the highest level in a macro game, and then he's cheesing every game, it's so hard because the builds are so tight and he's so good at controlling it.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Now, we continue to go down the ladder list, and this is kind of the danger zone area, so let's determine exactly where this currently is. So, as we said, there's currently 8 ineligible players here. DeMuslim, Bjorn, Bunny. There are 3 barcode accounts. There are 2 straight-up barcodes, as well as Anonymous, who, these guys aren't eligible, we know this. And then there's Stefano, and there is, I think his name is Iaguz or something along those lines.
Yeah, he's from Australia.
Indeed, yeah, so he's not eligible either. However, things have just been shaken up because there is now a 9th ineligible player that's made his way in there, and that's Polt. Polt is currently laddering right now. Basically, anyone who hits Polt in the next hour is going to be really, really unlucky.
Yeah. Definitely.
He is actively playing. He actually did just lose, funnily enough, on Belshire Vestige to a barcode. Yeah, he lost to one of the Zerg barcodes, actually.
Nice.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting. So, the Zerg barcode is actually fighting for American pride there, because I know who that is, and I know that guy's already qualified. But he's playing on his barcode right now, and he's beating Polt down to help out the Americans. I love that. That's pretty crazy. However, Bales just fell down to him in a recent victory right there. We also had a win against the barcode by Polt prior to that. And also a win against Sonic. Now, Sonic is someone that's been dipping in and out of this ladder qualification over the last couple of days. He's always been on the edge.
Yeah. I don't know too much about him. I wouldn't know what to tell you.
No, I don't actually either. That's the cool thing about this tournament. We get the chance to see players like that. Assuming, of course, he accepts the invitation.
Yeah. Assuming that he is living in the US or
Yeah, I mean, we haven't got information from everybody yet, so it's entirely possible that people. the people like Sonic wouldn't be. There's only a small number of players really who are in the running that we don't know much about. And another one actually is Yiptastic, but we just recently found out from Kane that he is not eligible. We have evidence that he is not an eligible player, so that won't be a problem. And then we get around this area here, around the 26th through to the 30th, where things are all up in smoke. TriMaster has been in and out of the qualification area all day.
That's unfortunate. I'm sure he could make it with more time. Like TriMaster was playing on Korea server, for instance.
Yeah, he was.
So yeah, a lot of these players, like Vive as well, plays on Korea normally. Me, I was playing on Korea, and I was like not caring too much about the ladder until the announcement. There's just a lot of players that didn't take it. Like this was a really good opportunity, so to say, to really make the ladder valid to some extent.
Yeah, and that was kind of the hope. The problem is that we had to deliver this tournament on a very short time frame, because if we didn't do it now, it basically was never going to happen, simply because of the scheduling in the summer. So we really did want to give players more time to make this work, but we just didn't have that opportunity. So what we hope is that we make this a success now when we have that opportunity to strike while the iron is hot, and that gives us the momentum to carry through to a larger Season 2, hopefully with a bigger prize pool and a month worth of actual qualification for people. And as you said, Vibe was playing on Korea. Vibe is actually still climbing. If he wins a couple more games, he could actually get in. That's a possibility. And there's these players around here. Nooney was looking really close about 20 minutes ago, but I think he just lost a match that sent him pretty far down. So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, he just lost 2 in a row. That's rough. He had a full winning streak.
Yeah, that is. Like I said, like I when the tournament was announced, I was like 100 and something rank, and I didn't care too much. But then a couple days ago, I had a really good run, and I made it from like 140 to like rank 45. So I was like, okay, I might stand a chance now. But that was like a sick winning streak, because right now, like the way it is if you win, you're winning anywhere between, I don't know, like, 5 and 15 points, and if you lose, you're losing anywhere from 10 to 20 points. So it's actually really, really hard without the bonus pool to climb up the ladder.
Well, Nooney just lost a puck, actually, in 4 minutes. Nooney double proxy-gated on 10 supply and apparently lost. So cheesing is happening now. Nooney is cheesing, and he lost. I mean, he only lost 7 points as a result, because obviously Puck's a really good player. But before that, he lost to some no-name from someone who has a We Made Fox tag, who is actually in Masters. That's rough. Someone by the name of Easy Mind. That happened over the course of 90 minutes. That's got to be like 20
points.
It was 21 points. That's actually one of the biggest drops I've ever seen. That's huge. Like, earning that back is going to be very, very difficult for him. Now, of course, bear in mind that things to consider are the idea that even if they don't initially get into that qualification, they're still kind of put in reserve. We may find that some players are ineligible when we ask for evidence. We may find that some players don't respond, or they simply don't actually want to join the tournament. That's a possibility. Correct. So getting even close to it now will be very, very good for some of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I want to thank you, and I think this is on behalf of all the North American community, because again, this made it so that people are actually laddering with a purpose, and trying their absolute best. It just makes the ladder so much more competitive. People trying to win, and you're actually like seeing mind games, much like you see on the Korean ladder a lot. Like, for instance, I played Sasquatch today, and I knew that he was doing a really early pool, because that's the last thing he beat me with. So I like metagamed them, and I went for another early pool, but not as early, and it was like a free win. And then he did it again, and I lost. But all these things like time and all that kind of stuff, it just makes the ladder so much more exciting, and it makes improving easier. And even if it's like $10,000 may not be the highest prize ever, but it's something that every North American player can aim to attain, and everyone, I'm sure, feels like they have a chance against each other, and it's something that really pushes them. And will like things like this is what the North American and European scene need to stay motivated and improve.
That's certainly my opinion. It was also Jenna's opinion. I think if anyone needs to be thanked, it's got to be her. She's the one who made this tournament actually happen. And a lot of these ideas came from her, and the entire tournament notion of just doing this came from her as well. I helped a little bit here and there, but this is pretty much her baby. She's currently updating rankings, by the way. I just put this out on Twitter. If you want to keep an eye on the live rankings, we have a list of eligible players right now who are in it, and also players that are currently close to qualifying. We're trying to keep that updated as much as possible. So currently, the list is as follows. QXC, Massa, Maker, Hendrilisk, Kane, Hello Kitty, Puck, Minigun, Gosu User, State, Neeb, Xenocider, Sonic, Drunken Boy, RSVP, and Suppy, with Trimaster and Bales just on the edge there. Now, of course, this is going to be changing as we go forward, and I'm interested to see how this goes. In fact, Bales, I think, just lost a game, so Bales just slipped 1 point below Sasquatch, who has had to stop playing for the moment because his wrists hurt too much, apparently. He's been grinding ladder all day, so he's having to take a break. He's just on the edge right now.
Yep, definitely. Sasquatch is really good too. I mean, he's one of the players that I'm sure would have made it if with more time.
Yes.
But the list that you have is a really solid list of players for North America. There's a lot of them that don't get a lot of exposure, but are really, really, really good. Like Hendrilisk, Hello Kitty got somewhat more exposure by the WCS, for instance.
Yes, definitely.
But before that, like not many people knew him. I mean, he's such a strong player. Another player that's really good at all.
He had a pretty rough group, though, didn't he? I think didn't he end up in a group with Ryung and Hart, if I recall correctly?
He might